Dr. Eris Thorne dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries of cellular regeneration. In the sterile confines of the Aegis Corporation's Black Site laboratory, hidden deep beneath the sprawling Neo-Tokyo megacity, he achieved the impossible. He discovered a process, a complex cascade of engineered enzymes and modified retroviruses that effectively halted cellular aging, granting functional immortality. He tested it on himself, of course. The subtle changes were almost imperceptible at first. He was, for all intents and purposes, immortal. He knew the implications were monumental, earth-shattering. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough, it was a societal paradigm shift. In the hands of Aegis, a monolithic corporation that controlled almost every facet of life within Neo-Tokyo, it could be weaponized, used to solidify their grip on power. Eris, a man driven by scientific curiosity, not political ambition, couldn't allow that. He decided to defect, to expose Aegis's plans and release the formula to the world, ensuring equitable access to this life-altering technology. He disabled the surveillance systems in his lab, encrypted the data containing his research, and downloaded it onto a secure quantum drive hidden within his prosthetic arm. The alarm was raised only minutes after he slipped through a maintenance tunnel, plunging into the grimy underbelly of Neo-Tokyo. Neo-Tokyo was a brutal landscape of towering skyscrapers that pierced the perpetually smog-choked sky. Holographic advertisements flickered across the buildings, a cacophony of visual noise vying for attention amidst the drone of hover cars and the relentless hum of the city's power grid. This was where Eris found refuge, a shadow world teeming with danger and opportunity. His first contact was a woman known only as Rika. She was a ghost in the machine, a master hacker and information broker with a network that spanned the entire city. Eris found her in a dimly lit, smoke-filled den in the Red District, a neon-drenched hive of vice and illicit trade. Rika, a wiry figure with cybernetic eyes that glowed with an eerie intensity, listened to his story with a skeptical gaze. "Immortality?" she scoffed, exhaling a plume of synthetic smoke. "Aegis will tear this city apart to get their hands on you." "I know the risks," Eris replied, his voice firm despite the tremor of fear he felt. "But this technology belongs to everyone, not just them." Rika studied him for a moment, her expression unreadable. "All right, Doc, I'll help you, but it's going to cost you." Their uneasy alliance was forged in the crucible of necessity. Rika provided Eris with safe houses, encrypted communication channels, and access to the city's underground network. She also introduced him to a motley crew of rebels. Jax, a hulking former Aegis enforcer with a conscience and a penchant for heavy weaponry. Mira, a skilled medic and bioengineer who could repair his augmentations, and Kenji, a streetwise kid with an uncanny ability to navigate the city's intricate alleyways. They deployed their elite security forces, the quote-quote Sentinels, to hunt Eris down. These cyborg soldiers, augmented with advanced weaponry and neural implants, were the epitome of corporate power. Led by Commander Valeria, a ruthless and ambitious officer who saw Eris's capture as her ticket to the top, the Sentinels systematically scoured Neo-Tokyo, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The chase led Eris and his allies through the city's most dangerous districts. They navigated the treacherous vertical slums of the upper levels, where the air was thin and the laws were non-existent. They infiltrated the opulent penthouse suites of the corporate district, stealing vital information from Aegis's servers. Along the way, Eris began to see the true cost of Aegis's control. He witnessed the poverty, the oppression, the desperation that fueled the city's underbelly. He saw the human cost of his scientific ambition. He realized that his quest to share immortality was not just about science, it was about justice, about fighting for a future where everyone had a chance to live, not just survive. Beneath her cynical exterior, Eris saw a woman who had been scarred by Aegis, a woman who had lost everything. He saw her own quiet desire for a better world. They became more than just allies. They became friends, sharing their hopes and fears in the face of overwhelming odds. One of the most intense close calls involved an ambush in the flooded subways beneath Neo-Tokyo. The Sentinels, led by Valeria, had anticipated their movements. A fierce firefight erupted in the claustrophobic tunnels, the echoing blasts of energy weapons filling the air. But Jax was wounded, his cybernetic arm shattered. They managed to reach a makeshift clinic run by Mira, who worked tirelessly to repair Jax's arm. The incident served as a grim reminder of the stakes involved. The quantum drive containing Eris's research became a target. Aegis offered a massive bounty for its recovery, turning the city's criminal element against him. Eris found himself constantly looking over his shoulder, never knowing who to trust. One of the most heartbreaking betrayals came from Kenji, the streetwise kid who had become like a younger brother to Eris. Eris was devastated, but he understood the desperation that drove Kenji's actions. He spared Kenji's life, hoping that the young man would learn from his mistake. The climax of the story arrived when Eris and his allies decided to strike at the heart of Aegis, their corporate headquarters located in the towering Zenith Tower. They planned to upload the immortality formula to the global network, ensuring its accessibility to everyone. The assault on Zenith Tower was a suicide mission. They knew that the odds were stacked against them, but they were determined to fight for their cause. Rika used her hacking skills to disable security systems, while Jax provided the brute force to overcome physical obstacles. Mira used her medical expertise to keep them alive, and Kenji, seeking redemption, used his knowledge of the city's infrastructure to guide them through the tower's labyrinthine corridors. Aris, armed with a modified energy pistol and his scientific knowledge, led the charge. They faced relentless opposition from the Sentinels, who were deployed in force throughout the tower. They lost comrades along the way, brave individuals who sacrificed themselves to protect the mission. The emotional toll was immense, but they pressed on, fueled by their determination. Aris finally reached the central server room, the core of Aegis's network. He plugged the quantum drive into the system and began the upload process. But Valeria was waiting for him. A final confrontation ensued, a desperate battle between science and corporate power. Valeria, augmented with advanced combat implants, was a formidable opponent. But Eris had something that Valeria lacked: hope. He fought with the knowledge that he was fighting for a better future, for a world where everyone had the right to live. Using his scientific ingenuity, Eris managed to disable Valeria's combat implants, turning her own technology against her. He didn't kill her. He couldn't. He believed that even Valeria, driven by ambition and loyalty to Aegis, deserved a chance at redemption. With Valeria defeated, Eris completed the upload process. The immortality formula was released to the world. People rose up against oppressive regimes and corporations, demanding equality and access to the life-altering technology. The aftermath was chaotic. The world was plunged into a period of unprecedented change. Old power structures crumbled, and new ones emerged. The ethical and societal implications of immortality were debated and challenged. But Aris knew that he had done the right thing. He had given humanity a chance to choose its own destiny. Eris and his allies, weary but triumphant, found refuge in a small community on the outskirts of Neo-Tokyo. Aris continued his research, exploring the potential of cellular regeneration to cure diseases and enhance human life. One day, Kenji returned, a changed man. He had spent his time wandering the city, helping those in need. He apologized for his betrayal, and Eris forgave him without hesitation. Kenji joined their community, becoming a valued member of the team. Rika, always the pragmatist, continued to monitor the global network, ensuring that the immortality formula remained accessible and protected from those who would exploit it. As Aris looked out over the sprawling landscape of Neo-Tokyo, he knew that the future was uncertain, but he also knew that humanity had the potential to overcome any challenge. He had given them the gift of immortality, but it was up to them to decide what to do with it. His journey had been long and arduous, filled with danger and sacrifice. But he had no regrets. He had fought for what he believed in, and he had made a difference. He knew his work wasn't finished, that challenges would continue to appear, but for the first time in a long time, Aris felt a sense of peace, knowing that he had done everything he could to ensure a brighter future for humanity.